Today we are reacting to ReZero Season 4's latest trailer. I will be watching it live and providing commentary while pausing. This is a completely new genre. I am a pioneer of the YouTube scene. No one has done this before, so please enjoy it. Also, I will be pausing this video a lot for two main reasons. The first one being copyright concerns. I don't want YouTube's copyright system to touch me inappropriately from behind. I do not like to be touched inappropriately. And the second one is to actually provide commentary and some sort of analysis, because that's what a react video is supposed to be. If you want to just watch the video, you can just watch the video yourself. You're supposed to provide commentary and analysis and actually do things. But for those of you who want to have this specific niche of having the video playing with my face on the background, just making funny faces and monkey noises like ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. For those of you who want that, please send me a message, leave your email, and I will send you a private video with just that for your comfort. So without further ado, I'm already crashing out. We're not even 5 minutes in. I'm already crashing out. But either way, just so you know, I'm pretty sure I am sick or beginning to be sick. I am overcaffeinated, jittery, and that's why I'm like this. My upper back is shaking. I don't know if it's my age showing or if I just drank way too much caffeine from a non-sponsored energy drink, but either way, let's get this show rolling. I'll be using this video provided by ICE since it does have English subtitles, which I do appreciate. A lot of thanks to ICE and to every single member of the ReZero community for really helping promote ReZero, since Crunchyroll, who has a financial incentive to promote ReZero since it is in its library that is behind a paid subscription, for some reason they just don't really like to promote ReZero. Just weird, I guess. The bare minimum is still not really a thing they like to do. So just a strange thing I noticed. Either way, let's stop throwing shots at big corporations and actually get into this trailer. I missed the so much. This is one of those sound effects that really, when you're reading the novel, there are certain moments where they're just ingrained into your brain because of the anime watching experience. There are some moments where I just hear the and some others where I hear the it's just something that really sticks with me. I think the sort of sound effects, whatever you may call them, the sound design for ReZero is mega underrated. From like major details such as this one, the sounds of the witch, to other details such as, for example, the cell phone ringtone when they were fighting the White Whale. It just has so many good details. I think the sound for ReZero is super well made. Okay, we see that somebody found somebody, and we see a very naughty smile from a character who I'm pretty sure you already know who it is, but maybe you don't know the name, so I will not reveal her name. But yeah, it's a very naughty smile from a character that I think will cause quite a splash on anime-onlys. Like, from her character design and overall personality, I think many anime-onlys will enjoy her. It's the type of character that's really enjoyed by a more general viewing audience. The hero destroyed by Shaola. This has very interesting implications. I won't reveal which implications, but it is something that it's sort of a spoiler hidden in a spoiler, where even if you know who Shaola is, you may not necessarily understand what this is referring to. So up until now, no problems. I love the detail of Subaru still having his black hand, because if you recall, in Season 3 he absorbed a lot of Crucius curses, and so he got all that gooey, yucky stuff in his hand, and it's still black to this day, which is a very nice continuity detail, which may be forgotten in some light novel illustrations, which I will not mention. I'll not mention it. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, I had seen this image before, but as a still image, to see it moving is actually very disturbing because it is very expressive. I think we've had some very gory and disturbing scenes in ReZero. It is not anything new by this point, but I will say that the way they're animating it, Subaru's face right here is very expressive, almost has like an evil look in his face. This is something that I would perhaps expect out of a character like Betelgeuse or something, but here they have Subaru making just this terrible expression, and it's so impactful. I really enjoy it, and I hope they lean more into a sort of darker direction. I think it will fit particularly for this specific arc. I think it's going to be very good. If this is a sign of things to come, then I'm all for it. Okay, so the library, I think to me, it looks more made of wood, more generic, more library looking than it did in the light novel, which isn't necessarily a good or a bad thing, just something that I noticed. Actually, I just looked it up, and in my mind, I thought that the library was made more of marble, but I don't see that much of a difference between the two. I think this wood is a bit brighter, a bit of more brighter brown, but I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not a meaningful change. Once again, this was just my memory. Once you get to my age, you start having memory problems. You guys know how it is. And before you guys ask, why is this image so ridiculously zoomed in? It's because there may be a slight spoiler on the other side of the image, which I don't want to show. By the way, I'm making this video to be accessible to anime onlys. I will only talk about what is shown in the trailer and not spoil anything else besides that. So if it's in the trailer, it's free game. If it's not, I won't talk about it. So yeah, the library looks pretty much identical. It's just, it's whatever. It's cool to me. Interesting. They spoil right away that it's a Book of the Dead, but they don't really mention what it is. I hope. Okay, so they sort of just approach the subject but didn't really show what it was. And this is a thing with spoilers where I think there's a very good middle ground between spoiling something and ruining the fun of experiencing the story for the first time, in giving you enough sizzle where you sort of get saliva in your mouth. You start getting hungry for that steak because that sizzle just looks so good. And I think that there is, for example, a certain tolerance that people have that is very subjective. Different people just handle spoilers very differently. For example, I've never particularly cared about spoilers. It's just, if anything, I like seeing not just the spoiler, but the execution of the spoiler. For example, way back in the day, I started watching Death Note because I saw a recommended video of how L died. And I was like, huh, L dies. I know it's a very weird scene to be the first scene that you watch of Death Note, but I watched that one. Apparently, I liked it enough that I then went and watched the entire series. So I don't mind spoilers that much compared to the average person. I do think that these trailers need to strike a good balance between giving you enough to get you interested, but not showing you enough that it sort of ruins the story, or whenever it happens in the actual episode, you sort of, I've already seen this, it's boring. So I think it's a good balance to strike. Up until now, it's being very good. Okay. Okay, and this, I have a confession to make. I am perhaps not a huge fan of the casting for Reed. So, in case you guys don't know, Sugita is one of my favorite voice actors of all time, if not my favorite. He has just voiced some of my favorite characters, namely Gintoki, also, where is it? Joseph Joestar, who are very comedic characters with a dark side behind them, and sometimes they even use comedy to sort of hide the trauma or problems that they may have. I think that Sugita does an excellent job at comedic characters that are kind of funny but also have a serious side. I also think he does a tremendous job at voicing characters with sort of more of a regal voice and a more serious undertone, like for example Escanor and the dude from Demon Slayer, whose name I do not recall this one exactly. And I think he does an excellent job with those types of characters, those sort of two archetypes, but I'm not entirely sure about Reed's voice, because without giving too much away, I think Reed is supposed to be a wilder character, and you even see this, I think, in some of the images, so I don't think this is anything new. This is just the sort of expression he's making. You can see sort of a wild boy, and Reed, I expected him to have a sort of just an older version of Garfield is what I expected for his voice, and this isn't that. So I think he's going to do an excellent job because he's an excellent voice actor, but in first analysis, I think this kind of seems like a miscast. And at the same time, it's a bit of I'm saying contradictory things here, but on one hand, I think it may be a miscast, but on the other hand, I think he's such a good voice actor that the challenge of voicing a sort of wilder character may be actually good for him and may sort of blend him into taking other types of roles. Let's see how he does as Reed. Oh, okay. Once again, this is that very subjective line that I mentioned where some spoilers are okay, they're just giving you the sizzle, and others are just giving you the steak and making you full before the meal. I think this is one of the, I guess, more inconsequential resets. It's right at the beginning of the arc without spoiling too much. I don't think they should have put a reset on the trailer. I personally would not have put it in, but I guess it's not that bad. Once again, I personally would not have put this in, but I don't think it's too bad of a spoiler to be on a trailer. And once again, just the voice acting of Subaru combined with the sounds of the witch in the background is just... I love ReZero so much. Oh, okay, so they introduced Stick Swinger Reed. Okay, so I was feeling bad. Do I have to edit this out of me mentioning Reed by name? But they say it, it's in the trailer, it's fair game. And they even call him Stick Swinger, which I will not elaborate on. For all of you guys right now, I want you to let go of your pee-pee. You cannot goon while my face is on the screen, okay? It's disrespectful. Do not goon. I will call you out. I will call the goon police. Stop it right there. Stop right now. Okay, they even say it's the first Sword Saint. So, and as you can see, like, this is just a wild boy. If you look at this dude, just look at his facial expressions. Oh. Okay. Okay, so this is another one of those things where you see Julius just pointing his sword towards Anastasia, and this is a thing that I mean that you should put on a trailer. This is mega juicy. An anime only watches this and he's like, wait, what? Why is this happening? Why is he doing this? And it's the thing that really gets you going, gets you interested in watching the season, but I'm going to assume they're not going to explain it. So yeah, it's just, once again, this is the perfect spoiler to put on a trailer. Okay, Anastasia looking very evil by the fireplace. Oh, they're going here. Okay. Okay, nice. They show a bit of the fight. Once again, this is very juicy. And also, I quite enjoy the character design. It's not too dissimilar from what we had in the novel. It looks good, honestly. It looks good. Quite a backside on him. Woohoo! But yeah, it looks good. Fire blast! Okay, this is once again that subjective thing. To me, this is a step too far. I think just showing the horse and Subaru in trouble, fighting with it is cool enough. To show him being saved is already one of those things where you are sort of taking tension away from the episode when you watch it, because you already know that Subaru is going to be saved because you saw the trailer. So once again, this is one of those things. This is very, I'm being hyper nitpicky here, okay? But this is just my particular sensibilities. Rum looks so good in this clothing, by the way. I hadn't talked about the character designs yet, but Rum looks so good in this clothing. It's just, I really like the clothing overall for Arc 6. I think they're very, very good. But Rum in particular, I think it's the pink hair with the light green suit. It just, the flow or combination of colors is just so cool. Okay, once again, they're showing some fight scenes which are meant to get you hyped. It's showing... Okay. I'm just pausing so it doesn't get struck. Yeah, this gets you hyped. When they put... There's always this part in the teasers where they put the chorus of the song and then everybody doing their cool move, like in Vigiburo Providence, El Fiura. It's just... Okay, even if I lose my name. What an interesting phrase to put on the trailer. I wonder why that is there. I wonder. Okay, Reed looks like a maniac during the fight. This is great. Once again, I am beyond curious to see how Sugita is going to play this character, because I don't think this is his wheelhouse at all. But I'm salivating. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, and we have Subaru saying that he remembers everything. Okay. Ooh, once again, Emilia looking very, very good with all of her Infinity Blade Works made of ice. Unlimited Blade Works. The Fate fans are going, how dare you botch the name? Oh, one thing I do have to mention. Okay, I don't think they'll show it anymore, so let's backtrack a little bit. So, on the light novel, the fight versus Reed was on a sort of emptier room. Here, they made the choice of having it on this sort of grassy plain, which is fine. I understand why they did it, because visually speaking, an empty room can be a bit just boring and not that stimulating visually. So I understand why they did it, to add a bit more spice to the fight and all of these scenes with Reed. That's cool. However, if they were going to change the background, I would have chosen something that was a bit more Reed fitting. I don't know, the grassy plain just seems a bit boring and sort of reductive with what we saw with Echidna, for example. Obviously, the Echidna grass plane was much, much simpler. That was like the Windows XP desktop background or whatever. This one is obviously more elaborate, but still, I would have preferred to see something that was more Reed-like. I think, for example, a sort of mountainy background with mountains and rocks, maybe it would even be cooler for the fight choreography. You could have Julius and Reed just battling it out, breaking mountains, just the rocks falling. It could be a lot cooler to see. This grassy plain feels like a step beyond. I understand why they did it, why they changed this from the light novel, but at the same time I think they could have gone even further, and it feels a bit boring from the choices that they had. For reference, this is the cover that I was talking about. Once again, you actually can't see much of the background because it has a dragon in it, but it seems like it's more of a mountain, a rougher looking place. I think it would have fit Reed better, but either way, that's a minor nitpick. Doesn't matter at all. Okay, we see Rem once again, still sleeping in all of her beauty, but this time having a much cooler outfit, which I also greatly appreciate. I like how Rem and Rum are very similar, but they sort of have distinct outfits, and I love how Rem, her outfit is pink, which is Rum's color in a way. It really sort of makes it seem like even sleeping she sort of has the sister complex, because we have to assume these clothes were hers before obviously the whole memory wipe happens. So I don't know, just cool details that I notice. Oh, okay, and now I have to backtrack what I just said, because that was actually a glove. Here we see the actual yucky right hand that Subaru has, and it's a lot more veiny and disgusting than it appeared, so things are even worse than they seemed. I will not forget you all. Okay, Subaru's saying quite a lot of suspicious things for a trailer. Okay. Okay, once again, this opening, I sort of have to pause because I don't want to get copyright struck, but this opening seems very, very good. I think openings of ReZero sang by women, which I think is all of them, bang. So all openings of ReZero bang. Oh, okay. Also, once again, Emilia looking good. I know some people didn't quite vibe with the whole desert outfit. I think it's very closer to what Fortuna wore, which is good to me. I think it's a cool tribute to her mother, and I think she looks good in it as well. And if anything, it looks a lot more practical for fighting than the actual sort of dress that she regularly wears, so I don't mind this at all. Okay, this scene, this is crazy that they put this in the teaser actually. This is super cool, and it's also super cool because if you're an anime only, you may not immediately recognize who this is. I don't think it's super obvious unless you have a super good memory, so this is super cool that they put it here. Okay, the desert crossing. It seems to be a little bit of CGI there. Maybe I'm blind, but I don't think it matters too much. They also used a bit of CGI for the dragon in season 3. It didn't look too bad. I think it's okay, it's whatever. Oh, that was so cute. Hold up. Oh, this is such a good shot. This will be someone's desktop background for sure. This is such a lovely shot of the two of them. I love this one. Oh, and Beatrice, it's a very strange thing to say, but she looks good crying. She's just a character that has those puffy cheeks. She looks super good crying. It's something that really pulls at your heartstrings. That's what I mean by good. Not that I actually enjoy seeing people crying, which would be strange. Call Me By My Name. This sounds like that one song from that one rapper that's based off that one movie, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, stand up. Natsuki. Once again, dude, Reed is so wild. I love what you're doing with his face and the facial expressions. I'm just super curious about the voice acting. Oh man, I want season 4 today. Can it come out today or tomorrow? I would love that. Okay. ReZero から始める異世界生活 4th season. 4th season. Ooh, okay. It's a quite naughty smile from Satella. This is probably the most expressive that we've seen her up until this point, besides the scene where she cried, obviously. But yeah, this scene, quite a naughty smile from Satella. I know some people, they'll get off to this. Oh yeah, some of you freaks out there, I know you are gooning, but please, not right now. Not while my face is on the screen, guys. Come on. Be respectful. Okay. Who am I? Okay. Okay, this is the first one where I'm actually conflicted on this, because they don't outright say who lost their memories. You know for sure it's not Emilia, because this is Emilia's voice, right? But from the context, it's sort of like implied. They don't explicitly state it, but come on, you guys obviously can figure out
本当に何
who they're. Come on, it has the Echidna's face on it doing the stupid geeky smile. So come on,
も
guys,
覚えて
you,
ない
you obviously know who lost their memories. I'll be honest, I don't like this. I don't like. At the end, I think they kind of just went a step too far. I think this is too much of a spoiler. I think it's one of the main plot twists of season 6 of arc 6. It really surprised me when I was reading it for the first time. I mean, I think it's fine. Once again, they don't show the why or what happens after, so it may be one of those things. It's up to everyone to decide. I think overall it's fine, I guess. I don't know, I'm trying to rationalize it as I listen to it, and yeah, I definitely would not have put this in the trailer, but overall I guess it's fine-ish. Okay, now I can actually talk normally without the headphones. It was quite a trip. I don't think I've ever done this. Every single stream and video I've recorded, it was without the headphones. So it was kind of turning me for a loop. I don't know if my voice is lower now. I hope not. But either way, I quite enjoyed this trailer. I thought it was good. I thought it was very hype. It got you going. It gave you enough, but it didn't really spoil the whole thing. I saw some people online saying that this trailer was too much. It spoiled a lot of things, and once again, it depends on how you feel about it. I think, for example, Reed's introduction is already a pretty big spoiler, but he had already been spoiled in a lot of the promotional material. I think the memory loss thing at the end, if you think deeply about it, I think it becomes sort of obvious what's happening there, but I don't think it's too obvious. I don't think they really shove it in your face. I think some things, for example, I loved where it was super vague. The moment of Julius pointing the sword at Anastasia, that really gets you going, that really gets you interested. Overall, I thought this trailer was super, super solid. I ended up never doing a full season 3 evaluation, I guess, review, where I say, was it a good adaptation, was it a bad adaptation, how much material was cut, how relevant was the cut material, and I realistically speaking should have done it 1 week after season 3 aired, where it was at its most relevant, but I guess now I have until April, until season 4 comes out, to still do that video, and I plan on doing that sometimes if I have actual time to do it. I think that Tape is going to start Arc 10 in ReZero very soon, so if I start pumping out chapter reviews again, I don't know if I will have time to do all of that and still keep up with all of just this anime season is nuts, by the way. In case you have been out of the loop, in case you haven't paid attention, there's just so much good stuff to watch and read right now. It's insane, and I don't have time for it all because I'm an old man with many responsibilities and duties and whatnot. But either way, I still want to make that video, but if I had to summarize sort of my feelings from season 3 also going into season 4, I think that ReZero as an adaptation is not perfect, and I think to say it is perfect would be just mindless glazing that is not based on reality, but still, I think the adaptation is very good. I know that being a novel reader can sometimes make you overly judgmental, overly jaded, and perhaps have this sort of unrealistic standard for what an adaptation is. I think when novel readers say that ReZero is a crap adaptation, I think they're either just being trolls or they have expectations that they are entitled to have, sure, but that I think are way too high for what the sort of industry standard is. I've seen some bad adaptations, trust me, and ReZero fans do not know what a bad adaptation is. There are some adaptations out there that are war crimes, okay? You have no idea, but either way, I think that for ReZero, I think we can always expect gorgeous voice acting, gorgeous soundtrack, just the overall effort put into it, the extended episodes, just it's an anime that you can clearly see has a lot of love put into it. Will they have enough time, enough episodes allotted to just fit in all of the material from the novels? Probably not. There will be some cuts, there will be some things that maybe need to be shortened, but I am confident and I am very excited for this season. I think it will be a good season, and I think the cuts they make will hopefully be manageable, and I think season 3 proved that they did some very reasonable cuts. I also keep spinning for some reason. I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but my chair just keeps spinning in that direction. I'll just keep moving about as I yap. But either way, I also want to say that in terms of animation, I think ReZero is very inconsistent as a series, but I don't mind its inconsistency. I think a lot of the shortcuts in animation that were taken in season 3 were very reasonable, and actually it had some surprises for me. For example, I thought that the entire Garfield saga was going to be severely butchered, but it wasn't. The worst fight in the series ended up being, in terms of animation of course, ended up being Priscilla versus Shiryu, which I didn't expect, but at the same time I also didn't mind. I thought it was fine for what it was, and the extra effort put into the Garfield fight, for example, really surprised me. So I expect to see some great moments of animation. I don't expect the entire season to be a Sakuga fest, and I think you shouldn't have that expectation either, because we have never had a single season that was just a pure Sakuga fest like you have a Demon Slayer or a Solo Leveling, for example. I expect some very good moments and the rest to be palatable, to be still good, but not just amazing and mind-blowing. Finally, I do want to emphasize this because I see a lot of novel readers and you sort of have two camps and sort of very few people are in the in-between, like I, for example, but you sort of have the it's going to suck, it's going to be awful, they're going to cut all of the material and it's going to be tragedy. And, you know, there's that camp, the very jaded camp. But you also have the overly excited glazing camp, which I guess is going to already setting all of these expectations. Oh, it's going to be great, it's going to be the best anime of all time, it's going to ascend to peak levels never seen before. And I would just, my honest opinion, I think Arc 6 is very good. It's one of the best arcs in ReZero. I think people going into it are going to, if they're ReZero fans, even if they're anime only, I think they're going to enjoy it. And I think it may end up being their favorite arc, as it was for many novel readers after the fact. However, I am very hesitant, and I wish that some sections of the novel readers just stopped just overhyping the arc, because at the end of the day, managing expectations is also part of the viewing enjoyment, and I think a lot of novel readers are sort of psyching out anime-onlys, and it may have a sort of counterproductive effect. For example, this happened to me very, very recently, where I watched 100 meters going into overly excited with perhaps unmatchable expectations because I was a huge fan of Ore by the same author, and so I went into 100 meters just with my expectations up in the ceiling, and I ended up not really, I didn't hate the movie, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I would if I just went into it blind as I do for any other piece of fiction. So I would just advise novel readers to sort of just not just be overbearing with your excitement and just sort of tire out the anime onlys, because that's a sort of thing I'm seeing. But either way, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a good season. I think it will please a lot of people and it's going to have some memorable moments. Let's hope that the entire arc is done justice and that anime onlys truly enjoy it as much as novel readers did. Also, for this particular season, if it comes out at the same time as the new chapters from Arc 10, I'm going to be a bit overwhelmed, and logistically speaking, I don't know if I'll be able to review each episode. Maybe I'll just make shorter videos, maybe I won't go all out with my notes as I did previously, and maybe I'll just try to make the videos shorter and more concise. Let's see how that whole thing pans out. For better or for worse, at this point in my, I guess, ReZero journey? Journey sounds so pretentious, but at this point in the way, in my ReZero fandom, in the way that I just consume ReZero, I think that I'm more of a novel reader than an anime watcher, for better or for worse, and I will always try to prioritize the novel content over the anime content, especially because most of you guys, statistically speaking, come to me for novel content. So that's, if I have time for only a single video, I'll maybe make the novel one instead of the anime one. Let's see how it pans out. So until then, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below about this trailer. Did you enjoy it? Do you think it spoils too much? Are you excited for season 4, or do you think it's going to be terrible? Let me know. Until then, a huge shout out to all of my members, particularly my knights, Asimkt, the SPGFJ, Sia Astrea, No Sixpack, and OZWS. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!